with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old.
Department at United Talent Agency, and I'm stepping in to be your MC today. We're starting the day with a session focused on end-to-end AI transformation, from the devices we use to the way organizations operate and evolve. Please welcome our speakers, moderated by Kim David Greenwood for Unlocking AI Transformation from Devices to Culture. Thank you.
In my classes, while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star. They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping in the nosebleeds.
Good morning. Welcome to our panel on unlocking AI transformation from devices to culture.
Are you doing the rest of these?
We are very grateful that you elected to join us today and are very excited to share insights and perspectives on these exciting topics. I'm Kim David Greenwood, a partner principal with PwC in our strategy competency. I help our clients with growth and innovation strategies, including business transformation and operating model transformation, these days leveraging AI to help transform and create new capabilities. I'm delighted to be joined by colleagues from business leaders across Microsoft, T-Mobile, 7-Eleven, and Lumen, and we're going to discuss how AI is impacting devices, experiences, and connectivity across sectors. Colleagues, I'd be grateful if you could each introduce yourselves, starting with Sandra, please.
Hi all, I'm Sandra Andrews. I'm the global leader of marketing for Surface, and we are designed by Microsoft premium crafted devices that really pull together AI in all that we do, empowering each of you to achieve more. We're the device that gives you the edge with AI.
All right. Good morning, CES. I'm Ryan Asdorian. I am the Chief Strategy and Marketing Officer for Lumen. Lumen is the connector in the time of AI. We run all of the fiber. We run a digital platform. We connect data, infrastructure, everything to everything that needs that data in the era of AI. We're the connectivity provider.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yao Duong, and I lead our workforce technology for T-Mobile, really responsible for the strategy and delivery of our enterprise workforce solutions from hire to retire. As we think about empowering our employees in the moments that matter, enterprise AI is key to that in terms of enabling and supporting our workforce in the work they do to drive the business forward, but also in how we support them through the solutions that we have, leveraging Gen AI with HR, IT, et cetera. So excited to be here and talk more.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jennifer Goschke. I work for 7-Eleven, and we aspire to be your first choice in convenience. Hopefully you're able to visit one of our amazing stores while you're in Vegas, have a Slurpee. I lead the shared services team, and that team today is comprised of our call center operations as well as our Global Capability Center in Bangalore, India. And we support our stores and our employees to enable sales and make sure that they have everything they need to take care of the customer.
Thank you, everyone. So for today's discussion, I plan to prompt the team here with questions, but we really do aim to have be more of a conversation, really to hit on all the topics and areas that may be beneficial to you all. Given especially that, across sectors, companies are at very different levels of maturity, and so we're going to try to talk to those experiences. Maybe to start and set the stage, I think the first question would be for Sandra, which is, what do we mean by AI-enabled devices? What are they, and who are they for?
Thanks, Kim. I'm going to start by talking through Microsoft's category here. We've created a category called the Copilot Plus PC. This is a device that has an NPU, a neural processing unit, alongside the CPU and GPU. Really a new category that enables AI on the edge, because we see a future where AI will be both in the cloud, but also on that edge. And we call that edge an endpoint. We look at the devices that we use every day to help us create, consume, and now execute AI at a local level. So we talk about the endpoint as the device connected to the cloud, and these devices now are enabled to run AI, execute it locally. And that's what we call a Copilot Plus PC.
And if I can just add from the conversation we were having earlier as well, the processing, the place the processing takes place, it's moving from that hyperscaler cloud down all the way to the edge and everywhere in between. And what's amazing is to see what you can now do at the local level, because that processing power, AI processing, has to happen everywhere. It has to happen where latency is the fastest. And of course, on that edge device, it's very quick.
If you both would, what do you see as some of the benefits that these devices bring?
Well, first and foremost, a Copilot Plus PC is actually the fastest, most performant, intelligent device that Microsoft's brought. And when we say performant, we're talking about battery life, the fundamentals of what you want in a device. So first and foremost, that NPU allows you to run the AI or other services that are not using the CPU or taking up the battery. So these have amazing 22 plus battery life. So that's first the fundamentals. But then when we get into how we're enabling AI locally, this is a new way in which companies are enhancing productivity. They're harnessing that AI locally for a secure model. You can run a full language model locally and have that solution not need to always be hitting the cloud. That speeds things up, increases opportunities to differentiate within business by having those applications special for your employees.
Super. Thank you both very much for setting the stage, giving a little bit of background on these AI-enabled devices. Really, the first cross-panelist topic, I think, is around how are we all using AI today? So maybe, Yao, you could start with how are you thinking about AI today? How are you empowering your employees with AI-enabled devices?
Sure. Our AI journey started in 23 when we launched our enterprise search assistant, and to wide acclaim from our call center reps, because it fundamentally changed the way they do work and how they support our customers. And then, so over the last year or so, we have launched a couple general purpose AI solutions like M365 Copilot, Enterprise GPT or Workforce, and also leveraging AI to support self-service functions with transactional bots in HR and IT. So really, we're thinking about how we can move this forward. Our next step, especially in this year, is to think about agentic AI and how do we democratize that agent building across the enterprise with the pro-code and low-code solutions, but of course, getting all the infrastructure, guardrails, identity, security, performance, et cetera, in place. From a device AI journey perspective, we are still early on in that, especially since a lot of our fleet doesn't meet the minimum TOPS requirements that are required, in terms of the Copilot Plus hardware. With our longer refresh cycles too, we know that adoption and maturity is going to take some time. But we are starting to bring some of the hardware in place and testing that out so that we're positioned as we define the right use cases where we want AI on the device rather than in the cloud to accelerate productivity, to think about how we do things differently with AI on the device. So that's where we're going to be looking at what use cases really that we can leverage edge AI to really drive fundamental impact to the business and really ROI and where we think about going next. Our first priority, of course, is as a wireless company, as a leader in 5G, how do we make sure that we enable everybody with an always-on 5G-enabled device, and edge AI will follow on with that.
Super.
One One of the things that we talk about is Lumen's the trusted network for AI. We're building that backbone for AI, and that happens across every single component. You talked about some of the features of the Copilot PCs, but if you think about not only the processing, the sensors, the cameras, everything that you are getting data from, that data now gets processed in a different way than it did just a few years ago. We're feeding these LLMs all of that data. We're doing it on the local level at the edge. We're doing it up in the cloud. And so one of the things that we have to make sure is we have to make sure that we're also using all of that data. If we say we're the trusted network for AI, we need to make sure we're adopting that. We're Surface users, we're Copilot users, we bring all this together, and we're training our sales force that this is the new way of work, because you have to take in all of those features that everything gives you from the PC to the cloud, and then funnel that into the productivity workflows that our sales forces are driving.
Jennifer, maybe you can share from a retail perspective your experience.
Sure, thanks. So we are very early on in our journey, and when you're early on, you're going to feel like, oh gosh, I'm behind. I need to catch up. And then you feel this pressure. I should do something. I need to make some progress. And a few weeks ago, actually before the holidays, I was having a conversation with someone on my team, and they were saying, hey, we could do this, we could do this. And I thought about it for a moment and said, well, gosh, that's not even a problem. Why would I employ that tech? You're trying to solve a problem that I don't even have. So, you know, when you're early on, you need to be very thoughtful about not just what could we do, but what should we do? We don't have to use and chase every shiny object that's out there. I'm also thinking about the employee experience. And so I bounce out of bed every morning thinking, how can I create an exceptional life experience for my team? And their tolerance for clunky tech is basically zero. And so how do we incorporate this technology so that it's almost like a silent partner and they're not having to sort of jump around to a bunch of different tools or tech? And then the last thing that I think about is in terms of the customer experience, so our stores, our store leaders and our franchisees, there are certain interactions that I want to protect and preserve that are human to human. So you need to be thoughtful and identify those first before you start jumping into, let me automate all these things, let me layer on AI. Because, for example, if someone's hitting the panic button in the store, I don't think they want to talk to a bot. Right? They want to talk to a human. And so it's really important to give some thought to that. What interactions should I preserve that need to be human to human?
I like that, Kim. One part that comes to mind is Microsoft has put together playbooks. So we literally talk through the crawl, walk, run of becoming a frontier firm, a firm that thinks about AI in all that you do. And there's a term we use, it's called AI fluency. This idea of how we help users to really become fluent in AI in all that they do, whether it's Copilot or any other AI agent, that they're thinking about how it's impacting each and every activity that they do.
And you talked about democratizing AI, and we also talked about normalizing AI. I just wonder in the audience, if you have used AI and then you've shown that to someone, if you presented that and you're like, hey, just to let you know, I used Copilot or I used something else here, you're almost apologetic. And we have to, whether it's democratize or normalize the use of that, but it's in those scenarios because we know that it can be helpful. But I love the call out of the scenario and the panic button because you have to know when it is appropriate. And I think we're all getting into that flow a bit more.
Super. So we covered a number of really, I think, very important areas. One is we know that many companies are at different stages of their journeys, right? And that they're still learning the technologies and how to apply them. I think it may be helpful if one of you could share, how are you thinking about different user groups, or personas? Who's adopting what now? I think
Well, I think for us at T-Mobile, IT, we have shown up in a big way. We know that AI can definitely leverage we can improve the software development lifecycle, and we've seen it happen and really seen the value of it, especially in testing and in software development. So that is where we're partnering with multiple companies to really bring the best solutions. This ecosystem is evolving at breakneck speed, so we are always looking at what else is out there to really improve our IT software development experience. But we also, from a customer care perspective, that was our first foray. Really, that group was our first set of personas who really saw the value of AI, and we're continuing to build more and more solutions, especially because a lot of their things, their activities, their work can be automated in many ways, but also looking at how do we optimize the customer experience with AI for customer care. So those two are really our biggest cohorts in terms of where we think the best value is right now.
We're also seeing it in the development space as well, but I'll hit on our sales team. Our sales team is estimating that it's about $50 million in savings of this last year in time, people doing the work, and it's mostly in the prep for the sales meetings. If you think about, we're about a 20,000 person company, and if you think about the scale of a sales force going out, preparing all of the briefing docs, getting managers ready, getting every executive ready for any sort of meeting we would have, we go into these meetings and we're actually looking at an account brief that the sales team has put together, and we're also looking at a sales brief that Copilot has put together, pulling in a lot of these sources. And I say that in a positive way, not as comparing them, but as getting different insights from each of them, because the AI systems approach it in one way, and humans approach it in one way. And while we bring those together, we're understanding that there are really interesting insights that are time-saving that you have to have in the moment. You've got to have at your fingertips. And especially in the world of virtual meetings, you can be in real time getting information during that call, during a sales call, that brings that call to closure a lot faster. And that's one of the big changes we've seen in the way we work at Lumen.
Yeah, and this is very consistent with what we've heard elsewhere with many of our clients. Certainly, the early ROI is with heavy data users, IT professionals, with customer service, as well as with frontline workers like sales. So we're definitely seeing those as the early personas. Maybe, Sandra, you could also speak to some of the other, what you're seeing in other sectors, other industries.
Yeah, for sure. If you start with just personas, everyone's thinking about who do I deploy devices to or who do I deploy? I want to make one quick comment. We want to see AI deployed everywhere. This idea that a subset of your organization should have the Copilot agent or should be empowered with AI, that's like giving email to only one part of the group. We know that it's a cross collaboration. We want everyone to be enabled. We want to build that AI fluency. To speak to different use cases across industries, it's phenomenal, whether it's education sector, whether it's healthcare, whether it's financial services, even small, medium businesses, entrepreneurs, folks coming to CES. We've seen a true adoption of AI changing, enhancing productivity, creating new opportunities, and then to be able to use applications that are leveraging AI locally, whether it's 3D modeling, some of the gigapixels, the video areas, that's really moving the needle on what can be done and how AI is transforming their work.
I love that comparison. If a new employee started, we said, oh, sorry, you don't get an email address, that would feel a little weird. And we actually were in a place where we were not giving everybody Copilot as they started. We've moved to a place where it is the default because it is one of those tools that it grows from everyone using it, but also it makes it fair across the board for your employee base.
I know it feels like a Microsoft sales pitch that we're sitting here saying we need everyone to have an amazing AI-enabled device and AI tools, but the truth is we do. This is what changes it. We're all going to come back at a time and say, hey, I worked in an environment where we didn't have agents. I actually built the Excel table. I didn't talk to my computer and say, Excel, please, create this table and build it into a PowerPoint. But the way in which AI is enabling and changing work is truly, it a place of transformation. And we see that this is the start, that we will all come to a time where we say, I remember before there was agents. We're going to become agent bosses. We come to work and there's 18 agents that kick off, that do the work. That's really what we see as the future.
Super. Well, thank you all for sharing your perspectives on where you are today. Obviously, we're all here at CES. We're seeing all this innovation and incredible, new opportunities out there. My next question has to do with tomorrow, what's coming next, and how company AI strategies are evolving. Jennifer, maybe you can kick us off there. How are you evolving your AI strategies?
So one of the things I'm really excited about is this concept of the self-healing store. So today, I mean, most retailers likely have monitoring of all different kinds of things that could happen in the store. But what's exciting from a call center operations standpoint is we can identify and fix what's going on in the store before the store even knows it's a problem. And it gets them back up and running sooner. We have fewer calls coming in that we have to triage, and it enables that great customer experience.
I think for when we think about the future at T-Mobile, really it's thinking about how do we fundamentally shift the culture of how people think about how AI is used and what their role is and how their role evolves. AI is going to solve problems. We have to get better at finding the problems where AI is going to solve. We have to think about growing those soft skills, those analytical skills that in a different way, because we have AI as part of our workforce in the future. They're going to be our colleague. They're going to show up on an org chart, an agent, a digital worker. So that you're, as a manager, you're going to have humans and you're going to have agents as employees as well. So I think that's where we have to change our mindset, think about the culture, but also, as Sandra was talking about AI fluency, how do we really get everyone up to that same level of fluency? CBTs don't work anymore, right? We're in a new model, so how do we think about really ingraining AI in everything that we do? And how do we make it a part of our daily fabric of work versus, we come to a training, we leave, and we don't apply the training. So that's where we're thinking about how do we really fundamentally think about how we enable our workforce in the future so that AI becomes part of every thinking moment that we have.
You asked about the future, and if I look to the past, this is crazy, but the last 25 years, the U.S. network of fiber that connects that backbone has not changed. The amount has not changed. It's served consistently. In the last couple years and the next 5 years, it is going to explode by magnitudes of 5 to 10x. The data pipes can't handle that. And if you think about an AI strategy, it needs two things. An AI strategy needs a data strategy and needs a network strategy. And what I get excited about is when you think about all of these sensors, all of these inputs that we talked about from the edge to the cloud, that all of our employees are putting into systems. The reason the data explosion is happening is because those employees are also putting in new types, new forms, new functions of data, and they're using that. Our job in this room also is going to be to figure out how do we enable the use of those while we create the platform that is ready for the data explosion that is coming from all the things that you see across the CES floor.
Thanks. And I'll wrap it up here in taking that concept of AI in the cloud and AI on the device. What you can do to embrace the future is enable the AI adoption. So amazing devices like Microsoft Surface Pro, where we've got a camera right here, you're able to use different modes of interacting with the devices. That's where we see the future going. So we see AI adoption is accelerated by the device that is in your hands, the device you use every day, the habits you have with the Copilot key right there enabled, talking to your device and having that experience with Windows and Microsoft combined. What we want to see is that device is that strategy to pull the hybrid AI locally, helping with that network and moving it forward. So we encourage a device strategy to accelerate your AI adoption.
And you all are prompting me to think, and maybe I'll start, Yao, with you. Anything else? Like, what are the learnings that you've seen? What other advice might you give to leaders as they face these topics?
What we're definitely seeing is control is needed and governance, especially from a cost perspective. We're already seeing that. We think about a lot of our agents that have been deployed and the platforms, the many platforms that we want to bring in. I think cost control is definitely something that is top of mind for me as well as many leaders, especially as we need to understand where we go with AI and make sure that we're making the right investments and the right investments to show ROI. Definitely there is a baseline that every person needs to be equipped with AI, but we need to do it in a cost-effective way. And also, make sure that we're really giving people a background of why agents matter in the future. It's not a replacement of you as a human. It's also to augment your work to help accelerate and collaborate in a better way to deliver more for the business. So I think those are the two challenges that we are facing at T-Mobile, and we want to make sure that we have plans to overcome those as we think about moving forward with AI.
You're talking about the upskilling too, like how we do that in a really powerful way. And whatever industry you're in, it might be a new industry, it might be a startup, it might be a more of a legacy industry, like the telco industry. But one of the things that we thought was really important was how do we empower with the software and the hardware to really bring this to life. The software and hardware together is the magic, and that's how you're going to unlock AI.
But I think it's
and the human part, so it's the augmented humanity, right? How do you transform and do the change management around the employee? But sorry, I didn't mean to grab it.
No, I think
please.
it's a great point about governance and cost, because we want to be bold, but we also need to be responsible.
All right, well, I will wrap it up with a huge thank you to PwC as a partner that helps accelerate AI every day. So we are very thankful to be able to have amazing customers and partners here on stage. So thank you from Microsoft.
Yeah, and I want to thank all my fellow panelists. I think it's been a terrific conversation around how this is evolving, how AI devices are emerging, who are the users and the personas, what are some of the challenges, how do we enable adoption. And finally, I want to thank you all very much for joining and listening. We were delighted to speak with you this morning. Thank you. Thanks, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.